When I first met Anwar and his friends, they were, they accepted me immediately. The Americans had supported what they'd done. The Americans had supported the military dictatorship ever since then. They'd never seen a documentary. The closest thing they'd ever seen to a documentary was probably the news. I come in, an American filmmaker, they love American movies. They just presume that I'm on their side and that what I want to make is an American movie. So it was very easy to win their trust. All I had to do was to treat them the way I'm treating you, which is to be nice, treat them as a human being, to be non-judgmental. And I was able to do that and still speak very frankly about what they'd done, because the 40 years of total impunity and indeed celebration of genocide meant that words like, and we see this in the talk show in the film, words like extermination, killing, even rape, were not far from being unthinkable. They had a kind of heroic quality to them. Well, I've always had this feeling, and my approach to filmmaking has always been not that I'm a documentarian or a fiction filmmaker, but that I'm somebody who films with people. And then I explore how they are on film, what happens to them in the moment of being filmed. How do they, when you film me now, I transform myself a little bit unconsciously for you and for your camera. When you film someone in a less restrained situation than an interview, all sorts of things can happen. In documentary, there's this pretense that we're documenting a pre-existing reality. We're not. We're actually pretending, in observational documentary and direct cinema, we're pretending that we are encountering a reality that's ready-made and that's there to document. But in fact, we're simulating a reality together with our characters. If you're going to film with someone, why not use the insights that are available, use the things that are there in any moment of someone being filmed, which is they start thinking, how do I look? Who's going to see this? Who else have I seen being filmed? How do I want to look? And all the reference for that come from other films the person has seen. I would say that Anwar is probably always acting, as any time you film anyone, they're always acting. And particularly Anwar, who's been encouraged to act. At the same time, that doesn't mean he's not sincere. I think we go through our life acting, and the way we incorporate acting into our everyday behavior shows precisely that our most sincere moments may also always be acted. Anwar says early in the film, and it took me several times of hearing this in my material to understand, my gosh, he's really saying what he says. He says that he got his methods of killing from the movies. Okay, that was a shock. But also that because the cinema was located right across the street from where he was killing people, he'd walk out of the movie theater in the mood of whatever movie he'd seen and kill in some way in that mood. He talks about walking out in the film of an Elvis Presley movie and being sort of joyful and heady in the way we are after leaving a happy movie that transports us into our fantasies, and staying in that mode as he killed people. Now, we've all been in a movie, and we've all left a movie and felt kind of in the mood of the movie. The idea that being in that alternative mode was a resource for Anwar when he was killing people suggests that actually he was acting not just when he reenacts the killings for me, but when he was killing people. Anwar is the most complicated. His motive evolves, and it was through the evolution of his motive, starting when he chooses to share with me his nightmares and then go into the reenactment of his nightmares, from there ultimately to playing the victim and what he finally chooses to show us on the roof at the end of the film. That turns into a much more intimate collaboration as he seeks to share with me how the act of killing has destroyed him, really. I think we're not as close to the slaughter as Anwar, but we're all at the table. And the reactions of viewers who are really upset and who find words for that feeling of sadness, loneliness, detachment, emptiness, I think the film works as an allegory for not just what happens in the aftermath of a genocide, but in human society as a whole, where our normality is based on some form of violence, political violence, ecological violence, social violence, and people are connecting with feelings of sadness that are universal. And I think that's been the most disturbing and rewarding part of showing this film.